TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem, and in today's top stories. The IDF will no longer abide by the so-called tit-for-tat approach to Hezbollah's blatant rocket fire toward Israel's northern communities as Jerusalem greenlights the defense establishment to double down on a wider range of offensive operational plans. Prime Minister Beniamin Netanyahu stresses that if Hezbollah failed to understand Israel's message, it will soon comprehend its meaning. The United States is making extensive efforts to prevent the Hezbollah-instigated war versus Israel from turning into a regional conflict. The IDF will no longer abide by a so-called tit-for-tat approach to Hezbollah's blatant rocket fire toward Israel's northern communities as Jerusalem greenlights the defense establishment to double down on a wide array of offensive operational plans. Over the past weekend, after Hezbollah experienced repeated blows to its ranks, the IDF once again raised the bar on its so-called escalation ladder, targeting the entire chain of command of its Radwan forces, to include the organization's top commander, Ibrahim Akil.
Last Friday, we struck the chain of command of Hezbollah's elite force, the Radwan unit, to include their senior commander Ibrahim Akil was eliminated. They represented a very important ability of the Hezbollah, and I know how much it shakes the organization. These commanders have been planning plans for the occupation of the Galilee for years. They are responsible for the killing of many Israeli citizens, including soldiers, over the years. They were planning to carry out the next attack. It may be that this is what they were dealing with in that meeting on Friday afternoon: how to infiltrate the state of Israel, murder civilians, kidnap IDF soldiers. However, we got ahead of them.
The IDF Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, continued by stressing that the elimination of Hezbollah's field commanders and top military chief served as a message to Israel's enemies throughout the region.
The IDF's targeting of Hezbollah's chain of command is a clear message to Hezbollah. It hurts it badly, and it is also a message to the entire Middle East, and even more than that. We will know how to reach anyone who threatens the citizens of the State of Israel.
The IDF's top officer went on to highlight Israel's explicit goal for the northern front vis-à-vis the Iranian proxy Hezbollah.
We are pushing Hezbollah back from our borderline, which threatens the citizens of Israel, those living near the border, and want assurances that Hezbollah won't be present there. We eliminated over 600 terrorists, including dozens of those who were members of the military leadership of the Hezbollah organization. The price which Hezbollah pays continually grows, while our attacks will continue to intensify.
General Halevi, in response to a question regarding Iranian proxies which operate in Syria against Israel, underscored the IDF's determination to confront any threat to the state and citizens of Israel.
In the Syrian arena, we maintain a very high level of readiness. We operate in the Syrian arena and attack there from time to time. There are terrorist organizations that try to gain a foothold in the Golan Heights and operate from there against the State of Israel. These organizations are under attack. We are hurting them. We are prepared both to detect signs and to increase our readiness to face the enemy with great force and to confront the challenges both in the Golan Heights and in the Syrian arena.
Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Beniamin Netanyahu released a statement in which he stressed that if Hezbollah did not understand Israel's message, it will soon face a clear dilemma that will alter its perception toward Israel.
In the last few days, we inflicted on Hezbollah a series of blows that it did not imagine possible. And if Hezbollah did not understand our message, I promise to you it will understand the message. We are determined to return our residents in the north safely to their homes. No country can tolerate shooting at its residents, shooting at its cities, and we, the State of Israel, will not tolerate this either. We will do whatever it takes to restore security.
In a televised statement, IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Agari called on residents of villages throughout southern Lebanon who are aware of weaponry hidden within, underneath, or next to their houses to immediately leave their homes and flee northward.
We ask residents of Lebanese villages to pay attention to the message and warning published by the IDF and heed them. This is an advance warning for your own safety and the safety of your family. We advise civilians from Lebanese villages located in and next to buildings and areas used by Hezbollah for military purpose, such as those used to store weapons, to immediately move out of harm's way for their own safety.
Immediately following the stated warning, tens of thousands of Lebanese residents left their homes, causing severe traffic jams on all motorways leading to the Lebanese capital Beirut. In tandem, the Israeli Air Force launched multiple sorties throughout southern Lebanon, destroying over 800 terror installations belonging to Hezbollah, which according to Lebanese reports killed at least 270 Hezbollah terror operatives and wounded over 1,000 others. Meanwhile, at the Israeli Air Force Command and Control, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant highlighted Israel's new approach toward Hezbollah's 11 months of blatant aggression.
I came here to see the IAF's activities up close. The result is extremely impressive in both defense and offense, at all levels. Hezbollah has begun experiencing the impact of the IDF's capabilities, and they sense that they are being pursued, and we are observing the results. Their activities will continue until we reach a point where we may ensure the safe return of the residents of Israel's northern communities to their homes. This is our goal, this is our mission, and we will employ the means necessary to achieve it.
Meanwhile, the Iranian proxy Hezbollah launched multiple barrages of rockets toward Israel's northern communities.
In the last couple of hours, the Israel police have been responding to numerous reports of rocket impact sites across Israel's north, one of them being right outside of Tiberias, where officers responded to the scene of a hit directly to a family home. When the rocket alarm went off, this family rushed into their bomb shelter room, and just moments later, the Hezbollah terror rocket landed just feet from that room. And in this incident, because the family listened to the safety instructions, they were luckily not harmed. Another impact site we responded to was the Golani Junction, where 2 individuals were lightly injured from shrapnel, according to medical sources. And these are just 2 scenes, and there are multiple. It's clear that Hezbollah is targeting our civilians, so we're constantly reminding the public, listen to the safety instructions, stay close to bomb shelters and protected areas, respond to alarms, and don't approach the rocket impact sites. Of course, they can call the police at the emergency hotline number 100 to report impact sites or anything at all that's suspicious. We're going to continue responding to the impact sites and to secure the perimeter, to collect rocket fragment debris, and most importantly, we're the Israel police and all the security forces. We're going to continue being here for our civilians and for our communities.
It is important to know that in addition to rockets fired toward Israel's northern communities, rocket alert sirens sounded in the northern Samaria region, indicating a clear expansion of the distance to which Hezbollah launches its projectiles. Thankfully, there were no immediate reports of injuries. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden was asked whether he was concerned about prospects of wider escalation throughout the Middle East.
Yes, I am, but we're going to do everything we can to keep a wider war from breaking out. And we're still pushing hard.
The U.S. National Security Council's coordinator for strategic communications, retired Rear Admiral John Kirby, stressed during an interview with ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos that the Biden administration continues to believe that the best way to get the roughly 100,000 displaced Israeli citizens back to their homes would be via diplomatic means.
We believe that there are better ways to try to get those Israeli citizens back in their homes up in the north and to keep those that are there safely than a war, than an escalation, than opening up a second front there at that border with Lebanon against Hezbollah. We still believe that there can be time and space for a diplomatic solution here, and that's what we're working on. I can just tell you that what we're focused on right now in our foreign policy is making sure that this conflict doesn't broaden and doesn't deepen, and that's why we still have sufficient and very capable military force in the region. That's why we continue to try to find a diplomatic solution, and it's why we're working with allies and partners all across the region to try to see if we can prevent this conflict from escalating.
I understand.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Shavua Mevurach V'Batuach, and God willing, we will see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.